Good morning, Andria. I hope I'm saying that right. Good morning. Hey. Hi. Hello. Okay. Good morning. Deep breaths. Welcome to Periwinkle Palace Arts. You clicked here. I didn't make you. You know what you're getting into. Clicking a link took you through a magical portal into my world on the internet. This is Periwinkle Palace Arts. I already said that. I'm Princess Bun Bun. And I'm here with my buddies. And we do art stuff here and talk sometimes. Welcome. I have quite a lot going on in my head today. Monday mornings are actually maybe not the best time for me to stream. I kind of forget that I always have trouble on Monday mornings. I don't know why. I mean, there's a lot of reasons why, but whatever. So, I've got someone in here from the UK, and I'm happy to have you. I think, did you comment? If you left me a comment on the last video, I'm gonna read it and respond to you in here. We've got the shakes this morning. And I'm just not with it, y'all. All right, let's talk about the bunnies. Say good morning to Maya. She's here every week, every day, all the time. She goes everywhere with me. She is my fibromyalgia bunny. I adore her. She adores me too. You adore me, don't you? Yeah. She's got the best eyes. Okay. Yes, we're coloring again. Here we go. And today we have Tizzy. Tizzy is the autism bunny. She has this amazing textured ear that I'm just like with it today. Anyway, she's the autism bunny, but she's the gold spectrum edition. I'm a bunny fanatic. I really am. I've bought so many of these plushies from Plushie Dreadfuls. They're amazing, and they're releasing new ones all the time, and I absolutely adore them, but I can't buy any this month either. And I'm really hoping the ones I really want don't go out of stock. But yo, I gotta pay my credit card down. All right. So, breathe. Breathe. Okay. I've been sharing this little thing with guys. Oh. Tizzy, can we not mess with the mouse, please, darling? Let's see, what are we doing? Yep. So, we've been working on this little girl. I keep having a lot less, actual time to focus. So we're going through the different sections kind of slowly. It is what it is. I have some information for you guys. I'll do that later in the stream. We're going to talk for a few minutes about immigration enforcement, okay? And I don't want to get into too much about it, but I'm going to put some links in the description after I do this stream to various places that have information. I want to talk about some ways to stay safe and how to cope. And I'll probably be sharing more of these sites as we go along through the next week or so, because I'm just doing a lot of research. And I kind of made a little decision like last week that I get into these things where I get just pretty much obsessed with something, and I want to learn everything that I can about it. And I figured I would just start sharing that stuff. It's random. Sometimes it's like really intense and it lasts for a long time. Sometimes it's a short burst. Sometimes it's as simple as I really need to know who did that song. Why not talk about it, right? Okay. We are going to work on the guitar and then the strap. And then I think after that is either the earrings or the beads. I've got to color these and the little details on the shirt and this. They're all little details that they shouldn't take very long, but my hands are acting up and my energy's kind of low, so but we're going to do it because we showed up. We're going to show up and just see what happens. Right. So we're going to start off with dark brown. And I'm trying to make a decision of whether I want to use the Premier or the Verithin for the first few lines because they're really thin lines, kind of, but then there's a lot of shading. There's going to be a lot of texture in this, and I keep looking at it because I'm like, I'm not sure I've ever done this texture before, specifically. So, I don't know. I'm a little nervous about it. I'm a little nervous about everything right now because I'm going to a concert tomorrow night with my husband and my youngest. And I just, guys, it's not that I absolutely hate leaving the house. It's that it terrifies me. But I know I'm always safe with my family. And I'm just scared. But I take the extra time to get ready. Like I start a week in advance. But I try to never have less than 48 hours notice before I have to go somewhere, even if it's just a doctor's appointment. Because I need to find my way through the panic and the anxiety to kind of turn it into an excitement in my brain if I can. Because your body has the same response to both things. Fear and excitement actually are the same thing in your body and your brain. The same neurochemicals, same effects on you. So if you can trick your brain to be like, I'm not scared, I'm excited. But I think it takes a little longer for me to get there than a lot of other people. I'm not showing it. Oh my goodness. Here we go. I'm so sorry. That'll be a fun one. Okay. What I did was I was trying to make sure I could see the chat box and I forgot to click. Okay. Anyway, I guess you guys didn't actually see the buddies. Okay. Here's Tizzy. She has this adorable dress. I love these dresses, y'all. The clothes that they make for these bunnies. I mean, I've raised 3 kids and I genuinely can remember. I can't remember like any time when I didn't spend a ton of money on baby clothes or kids' outfits that there were this level of quality. Like, it's better than some baby outfits. Anyway. Let's see. Hey! Let's see. I don't leave the house unless I absolutely have to or I seriously really want to. That's my qualifiers. I seriously want to go to this concert with my kids, so we're doing it. I've had like a couple of months, I think, to prepare myself, but like it's still, when I get to like within 2 or 3 days, I have the panic anyway. And there's certain techniques that I just go through, like to mentally prepare. But on the other hand, when I absolutely have to get somewhere and I don't have 48 hours to prepare, I somehow managed to do it. And that's what's really weird about my anxiety. I don't understand. Like, if I have to get somebody to a hospital, like in an emergency, I could do that. I just go into a certain mode. But I think sometimes I think it might be because there's actual like real panic, and my brain actually can process that because it's not imagined. I'm actually panicking. Like my husband hurt his back a while back, and like real late at night, he couldn't move. He bent over to do something, and his back just like freaked out, and he couldn't move. And I had to call 911, and we had to like get him into his chair, and then we had to get like, I don't know. It was a whole nightmare. He had to go to the hospital without me. I couldn't go. I can't remember why, but it was scary. Anyway, in the moment, my brain just clicked. Like, and my body just kind of forgot pain and weakness for a minute. It's like a superpower mode. I don't know. But then afterwards, I completely fell apart. Once I had tracked him on Life 360 and saw that he was at the hospital, and I saw that my oldest son had taken the van and gone to the hospital, I just completely lost my whole crap. Like, I was crying. I cried myself to sleep. It was pathetic. But sometimes that's what we deal with. But it is interesting how your brain can just like, boom, I need to do this. I need to get this done. But yeah, like I'm shaking, and my heart rate is going off like every 10-15 minutes. I'm trying to get my light source situated here. Okay. Yeah, the more you think about something happening, the more you're scared. And I just wish that I could always short circuit it like that. It would be nice. I decided not to use the Verithin for this because I can see that we're doing like a really soft texture on this, and I don't want the Verithin because it has a harder point to flatten the texture of the paper. So I decided to go with the softer cord pencil. That makes sense. Sometimes I don't explain it well, but I can answer specific questions pretty well. Alright, so we need two things in order to do our art, and I have them both. We need our hair to be cute because I can't really see my face, but I can see the outline of my hair really clearly, so my hair needs to be cute. I can't look at the camera if it's not. And you'll notice that I don't look at the camera much anyway. I have eye contact issues even with myself. What was I saying? Oh yeah, my hair's cute, and we need coffee. Don't take it for granted, y'all. The prices are going up. Not that it's gonna change my level of coffee drinking. I'd rather have coffee than food. So, yeah. So we've got that, and if you don't have your coffee, I do not know what you're doing with your life. Go get your coffee. I promise I'll still be here. At least till like about 11, right? I'm so confused with the light source right now. Just trying to look at it. My eyes aren't working yet. So, did you go get your coffee? That's a serious thing, y'all. So yeah, I'm going to see Hosier tomorrow. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. I don't pronounce a lot of things right, but it's okay. I know this is supposed to be so much thinner of a line than what I'm doing. My hands aren't really cooperating with me right now. Okay. We're just going to go with that. Perfection is not required here. Thicken this up a little bit where the shadows are. And come around right here. Kind of just up against the shirt. And you can even go over like the color a little bit. It won't matter. I promise. My hands are doing the twitching today, so it's a good thing we're working on something that thank you. Making a mess is the most fun part of art. I do try not to do it very often though, because you know I'm the one who has to clean it up. Okay, honestly, sometimes my husband's the one who has to clean it up. I try not to make messes for him to have to clean up. He's already got me. That's a mess of enough. Enough of a mess. Yeah. The talking isn't working great today either. I feel really bad sometimes when I'm watching the news and people are like, if they like have a word malfunction, I feel so bad for them because you know they're trying so hard. Yes, I do have energy drinks. My husband bought me these ones last week or the week before. It's Monster Zero Ultra, zero sugar. Like, I'm a Monster fanatic, but I didn't think it would taste good. But it's alright. It's alright. It's worth it to be able to have one and it not shoot my blood sugar up to 900. So, it's nice. Yeah, me too. Honestly, usually though, it's things falling on me or me dropping things. I drop lots of things, and sometimes I throw things because my hand will twitch and it'll fly out of my hand. Especially pencils and pens when I'm trying to have light pressure. I have weird hands.
This is a reminder. Take an after
Arrgh. I hear you.
This is a reminder.
Why do you have to repeat yourself at me? That's my husband's echo. Yelling at me that I need to take my gummy. So I often sing and dance. If you don't know that about me, well, I'm telling you that about me. Now, we can't do copyrighted music, so I can't play my music in the background for you guys. So I did what I could figure out. If you look that way, I think, right underneath me, there's a box. And that is just a little screen share cropped into my Spotify mini player, so you can at least see what I'm dancing or singing. It just makes me feel less weird. Rock stars are pretty good. I like those. But I'm kind of like a really big fan of Monster. They have so many different flavors that I love. So I've been drinking them forever, but I'm not allowed to really have them anymore. I still drink Monster coffees, but I only have like one a day. I'm really struggling with my light source today. I can't. Okay, let's just fake it till I make it, yeah? Both of the dogs are in the kennel. I don't really remember when she started doing that, but my little dog now gets in the kennel with my bigger dog. Okay. I got this. I got this. I got this. I'm listening to my playlist that is just like all about me and my husband. We used to be those mixtape people. Made mixtapes for each other's. Now we just make playlists. Before I forget, I gotta eat the gummy. This one is CBD and ashwagandha. I have a really hard time saying that word. Okay, I don't even know what I'm watching at this point. I did some stuff this weekend. More branching out of the echo chamber of the internet for news. I changed my whole algorithm again. How to get over dictator phobia. Sometimes it feels like the headlines are just repeating. Man, I'm just saying, I really think that Russia needs to stop messing around with Poland. It's not smart. They don't even know. It pushes your pain up. That's odd. It makes me wonder what kind of CBD you have. But I can't watch this right now. I'll have to put it into my playlist for later because it's captioned, but she's speaking in Russian, which means I can't just listen to it. I have to watch it. I'm not doing that right now. So add it to my list for later. All right. There was this, I really don't get on TikTok, but within reason, I will watch the TikToks my family and my boyfriend send me. There was a TikTok that my husband sent our family group this weekend of this older man singing and playing a guitar. It was absolutely beautiful. I think the name of the song he was singing was I Miss You. I have it on my phone. I actually downloaded the video. I didn't even know you could do that. I kind of did it on accident. I just hit the wrong button. I pretty much despise TikTok. I see its relevance and I understand. And I feel like anything that's worth me viewing, somebody will send me. If they think I need to see it, they'll send it to me. My youngest got, he got smart a while back. And instead of sending me the link to the TikTok, he started just sending me the actual video. Like, well, I guess he downloaded it and he would just send me the video directly so I could watch it right in whatever messenger app that he sent it to me. And I don't get irritated by that. I don't know why. I just don't get irritated by that. I think it's something about the repetitiveness of TikTok. that really, really gets on my nerves. I can't handle it. And also, I use my hands a lot, you know? They're not the most reliable hands. They're the ones I've got. So I try to take care of them. And even though I type a lot, I do try to reduce things that my hands have to do in a repetitive manner, especially if it's not art, because I want to use the hands for the art. So I don't do things that wear them out, unless I have to. And to have to sit there and anything that makes me continuously tap on my phone for a long period of time, no thank you. And then it won't go to the next video unless you tap it. You have to interact with it. Nah, don't control me. I've gotten to a point in my life where I just say no. I just say no to things that I don't want to do. It irritated my kids for a while. But we came to a compromise about it. I'm so sorry that you have to live with the nerve pain. I know how that goes. I also know how it goes when everything that somebody says might help you doesn't. Like, you try everything and nothing works. But people are so helpful, you know? They just want to be helpful. Let's see. I don't even know why I picked this up, y'all. It was important. Oh well. Figure it out later. The ashwagandha gummies are so nasty. But I'm not one of those people that's like, I'm not gonna take that because it's disgusting. Man, I grew up before you could put flavoring in your cough syrup. Like, when I was 12, my mom started giving me drops of valerian root underneath my tongue. That's nasty. But it worked. I think, as far as like the ashwagandha gummies, I think they just help me focus a little bit better. Not a whole lot. Plus, any additional CBD I can take throughout the day, I try to do that. The CBD is honestly a bigger part of my treatment regimen than even THC is. And I'm very, very sensitive to things. Medications, marijuana of any kind. It doesn't take much. Like, at all. But it's better for me all around if I drip drop it through the whole day instead of like all at once. And I try to do that with pretty much all of my meds. I didn't mean for that to go there. And while I do allow my hands to do the twitch thing and try to help it, try to allow it to help me create texture, that's the darkest color and I didn't want it to go there. And since it's just like that one little layer, I try to not use my eraser as much as I actually want to, because I can literally color an entire page using an eraser. But the paper will not stand up to it very well. When you paint, Andria, do you paint on a flat surface, or do you paint tilted or fully vertical? Because it's something I can't decide. I want to get an actual easel for painting and doing I have like a bunch of very large pieces of paper. I'm talking like big pieces of paper. And want to get an easel for that when I move into my building. Um, but for right now, this table, actually, the whole glass piece of it tilts all the way up. So, wet mediums aren't exactly what I'm most familiar with or comfortable with, but I do have some stuff planned out for that. So I'm always curious whether people work flat when they're painting or upright, and if it changes how you have to use the paint. It makes me curious. So I'm trying to get around these little, I forget what they're called. They're like they're what you tune the guitar with. As much as I know about music, I know I should know that word right now, but I don't. It's lost in the chasm of my mind. So just a reminder, I don't do tutorials here. I'm not here to teach you anything. You might learn something, but that's not really what we're about. I'm here to yeah, I find that I always end up getting something thinking that it works great for a little while, and then I'm like, okay, I can't do this anymore. Like, I thought that this table would be great, and I absolutely love this table. I love it. However, the way that I work means that I often have, okay, not often, I always have things on my desk. And that makes it a little bit difficult for me to just in an instant pop it up. So, like, I'm gonna have basically different little stations in my building where I can have, okay, this is where the bling is set up, this is where painting is set up, this is where pencils and stuff are set up, and have them all on like boards that I can like pick up and move over to the filming desk. That's the idea anyway. Same thing for the inside of the new house and the glitter room. I'm so excited about the glitter room. It's actually all I really want to plan out is the glitter room and my building. Because in the glitter room, it's so big that me and my husband are going to divide it in half. And we're each going to take half of the room. But we're going to put our TVs basically from the roof back to back in the middle of the room, so that so we can look at each other's face when we're doing stuff. Like, most of the places that we've lived, I always end up needing the most room, and he always ends up needing to be closest to the television because he plays video games, and I like to chill back here and do my stuff. I've been looking at the back of his head for years. I told him, I said, babe, you know I've memorized the back of your head. Like, I know exactly what it looks like. I would like to see your face. So when we move to the new house, that's what we're going to do. And then we're going to have, like, just our workspace all around us. But yeah, as far as this, like, I kind of have a bunch of projects that, like, if I go to do said project, I feel like I need to lift my table glass up, and then I won't be able to do anything else until I finish that project. And that's just not how I work. I don't work like that. Okay. So I'm gonna, let's see. I'm gonna try to thicken some things up right here. Just for the light source, you know. So I have a lot of painting supplies, and I do use them. It's just kind of random here and there. But most of the time I paint things and not paper. So I want to kind of get into painting on paper. I have watercolors, I have oils. I gather all the materials up for a project. I lose half the pieces for the project in the process of waiting for things to get here. And then it takes me a year to find all the pieces together. I drive my family batty. I really do. They don't mind though. I don't know why they don't mind. I mind myself sometimes. Okay, let me add some shading into here. Okay. I just realized why I can't figure out what I'm doing is because the program that I use to caption my videos, closed caption them, it sometimes stops like a half hour before the video ends. So I'm sitting here trying to take a screenshot of the words that tell me what color she's using for what step. So I take a screenshot of it so I can flick through it. Well, there's no words. That's why I can't understand it. And I can't take a screenshot of the words. So we're just going to have to let the video keep running. Okay. I think the next color should be chocolate. Or chocolate. I even have I have the Neo Color Aquarelle pastels, and I absolutely love them. And I have a specific piece that I need to take it to a print shop and have the image enlarged and printed because it's going to be on a really big piece of paper. That I want to do the whole thing with Neo colors. But I don't have a way to work on that right now. So all of those big projects are just hanging out in my building. And I try to not bring too much into the house because I'm a crafter. Things get disorganized. It has been the case that my stuff has taken over the entire household areas before, and I try not to let my family feel like they live inside of a I try to make them not feel like they're living in a storage building. And I don't want to tilt my table up because I've got other stuff I'm also doing, and this is my main work area for right now. I was going to be moving out of the living room into the building, but then we're going to be moving. So everything is kind of up in the air. I'm not complaining about it, it's just fact. Well, I used to have different stations throughout the house. Like hair bows was on the couch on the big coffee table, and then I would have something I was painting on the kitchen table, and like at one point I was sick for a long time, and uh, everything just kind of built up until there were kind of like I don't know what they're called. They're like goat trails, goat trails that people had to walk through because there was a time period between when I got sick and I stopped being able to do all the stuff, and the time that my family realized, oh, we might need to do some of this stuff now, and it all worked out in the end. But things got a little rough for a minute. I like the idea of having your paints in the same drawer as your cutlery. You can you could just like set up a tiny easel on your kitchen counter and paint while you cook. That would probably be something I would try. It probably wouldn't go very well because I am accident prone. I am so accident prone. So I've started branching out from just like United States based news and media companies to there's a few that I've been watching that are like outside. So there's Al Jazeera in English. Um, there's one that's like something from the UK. I don't know. I try to watch the world news on Sundays so that I can just catch up real quick, and I want to get the perspective of people who aren't in the United States. And I watch some channels where it's just like, um, I'm an American in Germany, or, um, you know, I'm I'm a Palestinian in America. What do the people around me think about everything going on? I like to watch those because I think it's interesting to get a perspective of how people actually think in the streets. Um, but last week, I got into watching full blown Senate hearings in both the House and the Senate and the judicial oversight committees. And I'm talking 4 hours per session of these people being questioned and answering questions. And then like, they say the same thing over and over a lot of times. It's just enough. I had to get off of it this weekend. I had to. Okay. Let me see how she's doing this texture here. I really feel like my clumsiness is going to be a big factor when it comes to painting. Um, but I want to. Like, it's just something that I want to get into. And sometimes I'll do something and I'll be like, nope, not doing this again. Not my thing. The drywall. I'm not doing drywall ever again. Ever. Um, but one of the things that I really, 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 yes, I've watched that one on UFOs. That's craziness. I watched that one. Like, every time they said, I'll be happy to discuss that with you in a private closed door session, I was like, just tell us. Just tell us. Tell us. I'm tired. Like I said last week, I'm not looking for a lot from the media companies. I just want honesty. That's not a lot to ask. That's what we expect from the news. Honesty. I'm tired of all this spin. I'm tired of having to watch Fox News to see what they say about it and MSNBC to see what they say about it. And it's a lot. I just want them to be honest. That's all I'm asking for. And, not tell people what they can and cannot say. It's a whole thing. Also, I'm just gonna say, I think Disney might have effed up. They have all these movies and stories about, freedom and, superheroes. And, do they realize that they made the superheroes mad? And now they're gonna be superheroes in real life? And I'm so behind that. Let's go, Disney. Let's go. Tell us who you really are. This world troubles me. It troubles me so much. I spent a long time, honestly, just not even caring. I didn't understand it, so I didn't care. I had so many things that I had to care about. But now, I spend a lot of my time just bored, right? I'm not... This freaking guitar is gonna look odd, y'all. I don't care. That's why I say I'm not here to teach. I'm here to experiment and let y'all watch me make a mess. Let's just go all the way over that, okay? I liked learning in that Senate hearing about UFOs. I liked hearing all the names that they gave each little incident. One of them was Go something. The Philadelphia incident. Oh, that might have been Pennsylvania. I don't know. That was a while back that I watched that one. The ones I watched last week were Robert F. Kennedy Jr. That dude, y'all. I watched Kash Patel and I believe I only watched the Senate hearing on that one. I was gonna watch the House. I've heard that they were much harder on him in the House Senate, in the House session. So I'm probably gonna watch that one too. But I also watched part of the hearing with the recently fired CDC director. That stuff really concerns me. We're losing scientists, we're losing medical professionals, we're losing volunteers. It's too much. I don't understand. I have so many questions, and I don't think they're questions that are going to be answered by anything but time. I think that's going to be the answer to the question. We won't know the answers until enough time passes. So later on in last week, I started to get interested in two things that I'm going to find myself exploring a lot, which is watching interviews with older people. Not on politics specifically, but there was a interview that I watched with, his name is Bob Woodward, And he was breaking into the journalism field when Nixon was on trial, President Nixon. So Watergate, all of that. And one of the things that he said a bunch in the interview was he has the advantage of having lived through a lot of things, the advantage of time. He's had time to watch how things play out, to see kind of the ebb and flow of fighting for freedoms in the country. And it was really, really interesting listening to him just talk about how we have a hard time seeing it right in this moment because we're in it. We have a hard time seeing that sometimes a new evolution of revolution period, sometimes a new revolution sometimes takes us a step backwards for a few minutes. And that it's going to be rough for a while, but at least in the optimistic kind of sense, our country always wins out and straightens out, and we make progress. And sometimes it seems like when you're in the middle of it that you're losing progress. And we are losing progresses right now. But he's hopeful that when it all comes out in the wash, we'll have an even better and stronger economy because we're Americans, gosh darn it. And it's so interesting to see how people who've been on this earth for, way more centuries. Who's living for centuries out there? Like, who? I want to know. Oh yeah, I've been in that position, like where there's really nothing for you, and you don't know what to do with yourself. I've lived through that kind of thing, and I understand. I understand how this is a recent thing for me, honestly. Me paying so much attention to the news has only been like in the past year and steadily increased until I got to a point where every few weeks I have to not watch news. I have to ground myself from watching anything news related for a couple of days because I've never been one who paid attention to the news, but I feel like things are important enough right now for me to do that as much as I can. And I'm also like watching Senate hearings. I kind of want to research that because like how do they determine all those like words that they say, like I acknowledge this colleague, or where does that come from? It's like an etiquette of linguistics, and I want to get into that. Like just mentally, I'm fascinated. Um, but I've never like I never really watched the news even as a younger person, like as a child, nothing like that. Part of it was how I raised, and part of it was like I'm trying to survive out here in the world and raise kids and stuff. Um, I don't have time to worry about what's going on in the whole world. And I was like that for a long time. And to a large extent, I still am. It's just that there's so much going on right now that I think what I'm doing is I'm having like a serious anxiety about it. And so my natural instinct is when I'm anxious about something that I don't understand to take in the information until I do understand enough that my anxiety shuts down. But there's so much going on in the world right now that my anxiety is not, it's not shutting down. Well, see, here's the thing. Um, and I wanted to take a minute to acknowledge that there is nothing wrong with bubbling yourself. Um, I shut a lot of things out. I do not talk on the phone, not even to my doctor. Um, All those people that call and say, oh, well, we need to talk to your wife specifically, like, the most they get out of me is my husband will bring me his phone and be like, can you approve for me to handle this for you? But for the most part, everybody that needs to contact me knows my voicemail literally says, if you need something important from me, call this number because I won't answer the phone. The only time I answer my phone is like my husband or my kids call me. And if they call me, it's always important. So there's that. I don't actually really do social media. I don't. Um, I despise TikTok. I hate Twitter. I've always hated Twitter. Forever and ever and ever. Like, I can't handle Facebook. I don't have the time and the energy to devote to inundating myself with social stuff, which is part of the it's part of the reason that I do lives instead of make videos. I'm here. I'm here to talk. I'm here to chat. We're here to do art. I'm gonna need more coffee in a minute. But if I were to sit here and try to take one of the videos that I create when I'm not on live, right now it's just too much. And so I don't do anything that I don't have to or I don't really want to. So I don't do social media. Like, I got so frustrated for a long time when people would be like, well, I'm on Facebook. Well, I posted it to Facebook. Yeah, I don't go on Facebook. I don't go on Facebook. Like, so I didn't see that picture, etc., etc. Good morning, babe. My husband is in the chat. But I forgot to message you. I'm so sorry. I'm having issues this morning. Like, I'm just having the issues. But yeah, I don't really do social media. So I have Instagram. I have a WordPress blog that I have not set up at all yet. And the YouTube. I don't think that constantly taking in that information, even news, like I said, I have to limit it. I don't think it is improving anybody's life. Like, touch grass, or do art. I really, really went through a long period of time where the only thing I focused on was art and my health and my mental health. And when I say a really long time, I'm trying to breathe. Thanks, babe. I think probably, I want to say 2012 is when I really started to have massive issues, and everything fell apart. And all that time, pretty much all that time, I have been off the internet and learning how to manage my issues so that I can have at least a part of my day that I feel good about. And I pretty much consider my family, my husband, my kids, my boyfriend, they're my filter. That and the walls around me. I don't I don't interact with anybody else. And most of that interaction too is via text message. So yeah, I do severely limit the to really anything that I can't take in. If I can't handle it, it's not getting to me. But I do have a lot of anxiety about what's happening in the world right now. And in a way, I feel like everybody should know what's going on, at least a little bit. But I understand those who don't, because I've never really been a person who understood. And I'm not sure that I am now. I'm just hyper focused on it right now. I think it's probably a good bit of it is because I'm moving between mania and hypomania quite a bit. Um, I go months without checking my email. I don't let a lot of things come in through the world. I probably have like maybe 40 apps on my phone that I use and only 5 that I use consistently. I'm not big on social media. I'm kind of a Luddite, honestly. I love technology, love it. I love it, especially for its educational purposes. However, I was around before there was internet. Mmm, depresso. What time is it? 9:43. Oh yeah, we're gonna be going to get coffee in a minute. Okay. Yeah, I'm pretty much a Luddite. Um, I still use pen and paper, though it's getting harder to do that because my hands give me trouble. I love the accessibility of technology, but I don't like what it I don't like a lot of the things that it's done in society and done to people. And the thing about that is that we didn't know. We did not know before we before we made all these technological advances. We didn't know what we were doing. We had no idea what it was going to do. Like a chat room on the internet now is so not the same as a chat room back in like the late 90s. Okay, let's see what we're doing here. We're going into the outer areas with beige, and then we're going to come back to, it's all coming back to me now. We're going to come back and do the texture on the guitar. Okay, here we go. I really felt like there should have been more variations in these pencils. I'm wrong. In the blend, who cares? Who cares? The see, the thing about it is it's all going to come out in the wash, right? So I've got beige, and I'm just blending all of this out towards the center of where the light hits it. But my husband, when we first met, he printed out this certificate from like I think it was Microsoft Publisher. I hear you. Look, I really think I've been kind of like making bets with myself on whether we were gonna get bombed or um or if it's gonna be another pandemic. I don't think that we're gonna make it like very much longer as humanity. And that was really scary for me for a while. I was just like terrified all the time. But to be fair, like something was always going to happen. And there's no point in worrying about that. I do. That's most of the reason I try to stay informed because I didn't used to vote. Um, I was not raised to understand anything about politics or government. None of that. I didn't. I didn't know. So yeah, I mostly just try to stay informed for voting purposes, um, and for safety reasons for my family. You know, the ones that do leave the house. I actually have personal accounts for like across the yeah, it was publisher, but he made me this certificate that it said basically congratulations for being roadkill on the information superhighway because you prefer pen to computers. And it was hilarious, and I wish we still had it because I really was that when he met me. I knew nothing about computers. I considered computers to be nothing more than really expensive and heavy typewriters. I can use some Microsoft Word though. And I didn't know how to turn on a computer for the longest time. I just once I got into technology when I was in college, I got into it. Like I started to understand it like really fast, and I learned it really fast, and I was good at it. So, and I was big on social media, you know, in the 2000s, but over time I just drifted away from Facebook, and I still have all those accounts. I still have all my friends. The large majority of my Facebook friends I know in real life. Um, haven't seen in a while usually, but known them in real life. And I just don't get on it. Like, I don't even open the app. Every now and again, I'll see that it's got like, Facebook app has like 99 plus notifications. And so I'll go in there and I'll just clear it all out. And people will know that I'm on Facebook because I will suddenly start liking things and sharing things for like a whole 5 minutes, and then I get off of there. So I'll have like those old friends, they'll message me and they'll be like, hey, you actually liked my post? I was actually on Facebook for a minute, my bad. It's not an emergency. Um, but for Periwinkle Palace Arts, all I have, and unless, I mean, the world changes constantly, so I can't say this is a permanent thing, but um, the the most that I'll probably ever have is like three types of social media accounts because I like to do words, so I want a blog, okay, and that's where I would put like my long writing rants and pictures of like a gallery of projects that has like a lot of text explaining what I do with that, like how I did the project. But then I have Instagram for like just photos because I also like to just take photos and not say a lot about them and just post it like I did this. And then I have YouTube for this. That's what Periwinkle Palace Arts consists of right now. The WordPress isn't up. I haven't posted on Insta in months. I'm just doing this for the moment. I got highly distracted, so I come over here. I don't feel guilty if I don't post something. I don't feel guilty if I don't get on the stream. I refuse to feel guilty about art. I really, I do feel a little bad sometimes because I do have people that are. I've heard a lot about Substack. I haven't been on it yet. Most of the podcasts that I listen to, or vodcast, I guess, video podcasts that I listen to, have Substacks. I just haven't been there. Like, I'm one of those people, I don't actually pick up new things real fast. Like, I never got Twitter. I never understood it. Or X. Like, I don't care. And there's sites that I've been on for a while, and then I just disappear from them. LiveJournal was my jam in the day. I love some LiveJournal, but I don't know. For some reason, I thought WordPress would be easier to put together. It doesn't seem to be. But I only have so much focus in one day. So I don't sit in bed and scroll. I really don't look at social media unless it's something someone sends me directly. And most of the time, it's only my family that sends me stuff. So when I go on, like if I go on Instagram, I have like a good number of like good followers, especially in the coloring community on my original personal profile. I feel bad. I'll post something and then I'll go like, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes, be going through my feed and liking stuff, and it's mostly just coloring. or other art. And so I'll go through it real fast, and I'll just be liking stuff, and then nobody hears from me for like several months. In fact, the other day, my Facebook app, um, it offloaded off my phone, and I didn't even notice until I went to look at something my husband sent me, and I had to go to the link, and I had to re-download Facebook. It's been that long since I had opened it. But yeah, I'm just trying to keep up with the news on a level enough to understand things, mostly so that I can vote, so that when my children ask me questions, I can answer them or direct them to, hey, I learned about this on here, you can watch this, it'll explain it. I feel like at some point I'm just I'm gonna lose interest. That's what usually happens. And then I don't know if the anxiety will leave though, because it's not like it's gonna get better anytime soon, and I'm okay with that because it's a whole world problem. It's not just a me problem. But I feel like while I have the ability to focus and pay attention to it a little bit, I'll learn what I can, and then, you know, I'll eventually either lose interest or lose the ability to handle it. But I think I've been on this little track for a couple of months. Okay. We're going with Sienna Brown. And we're kind of, okay, this is the one we're doing the shading with. So we're kind of making it rough. But I mean, it's not just me that thinks this. The scientific and social sciences proves that constant information overload is really, really bad for your mental health. And if your mental health is bad, the rest of your health is just gonna go downhill too. I often think that mental health is more important than physical health, even. Of course, we have to deal with all of it to some degree. But you only have so many minutes in each day, so I feel like I'm learning to be careful with where I choose to spend those attention spoons in a given day. And a good example of that, like I said, is that I don't, when I come in here, I want to focus on doing the art. I'm really gonna have to check out Substack, because, like I said, WordPress isn't working for me right now. Sometimes I just can't think in that technical manner, and I just want to focus on the art. So if I'm not editing and uploading videos, and I'm putting my attention where I feel like it's most important, which is on the art and the conversation, that's cool. Like, why would I sit here and force myself to edit the videos if I don't want to? Video editing is something that I enjoy, but if I don't want to do it, why? Why put my time there? See, my kids are all adults. So I live in my bubble too. This is my bubble during the day. I do try to be always available for my children. If they need to talk to me or, need me. Even if I'm in my bubbles. So I have this bubble, I have my bedroom bubble, I have my building bubble. It's actually, it's pretty consistent. I don't leave my bubbles. So I get it. And honestly, you focus on your health, you focus on your art, and if that's all you can focus on, that's okay. It's okay. It's that's where your focus needs to be until you feel like you can focus on something else at the same time. That doesn't happen very often for me. But it does get better, it does get easier. Taking care of yourself is the most important thing. And I used to be a teacher, so I understand about the students anyway. The students also. Like, when you're dealing with younger kids, you kind of, there's a certain level, you have to pay attention. You have to take that stuff in. And I can only imagine how teachers feel with all this stuff, or, parents of younger children. It's just so much. And watching my kids grow up with technology, that was wild. It's wild. It's a whole different world than how I grew up. And I'm not saying that it's a bad thing, but goodness. It's not all good. There's a lot that needs to be done. And I don't know if we're going to make it. I don't know if we're going to make it. I'm putting this like little scribble texture kind of wherever I want to on the surface. I was staring at the light source of it for a while, and then I just decided it doesn't really matter for the front, because we're trying to make a texture anyway, and while there will be some highlights, it's mostly going to be texture instead of light source. On this part, not on every part. Okay. And then we're going to go with, what is this? Golden Run. So I did the front of that with the sienna brown. When you say you don't have students anymore, my degree is actually in education and educational technology. So I was trained how to teach with computers, and how to teach teachers to teach with computers. It's kind of like a whole program. And that was back in the early 2000s. And I also learned, network administration, stuff like that. I just picked up along the way. Once I got into computers, which was a total accident, I ended up in the wrong class, and the instructor and dean convinced me to stay there. But that's what happens when you register late for classes, okay? We know this. My once I got into computers, I dove right in, and it was almost like second nature to me. I couldn't get enough of it. And it's one of those things I have definitely found that if you don't use it, it's not that you lose it, but the technology runs away from you and you can't keep up. And for a while, I was trying to learn Final Cut Pro and trying to relearn Adobe, and it's so much. And every time I feel like I got the handle on a piece of software, it changes. There's an update. Everything changes. I get so mad whenever Spotify changes. I really do. I get mad at Spotify. I've had situations where I've sat here and cussed Spotify out, and it's thrown me into a crying fit. which I think that day it actually ended up being a crying fit about something completely different that I just needed to get it out. And so my rant about Spotify just devolved into me crying about something else. I don't remember what. It might have been my teeth. I don't know. But yeah, as far as the students thing, like I always ask this: what age did you teach, and what kind of classes? I find that the number of teachers that I run into in the creative, crafty circles is pretty high. Like, I would say it's probably like, I'm making up statistics now. Statistics. I can say words, it's fine. I would say that it'd probably be like in the 70% range of the people that I have run into over my life that were really creative and also either had previously been or were still teachers. Which honestly, if you have students, if you teach anything, you're a teacher forever. You were a teacher before you became a teacher, you're a teacher after you became a teacher and stopped teaching, because that's, I feel like it's an innate thing. Like, that's just who you are. It's not only a job description. I'm really passionate about education, which is one of the reasons that I get into information overload sometimes, because I like to learn stuff and sometimes I get fixated on something. Politics is a thing I'm fixated on right now. But what's really scary to me though is that, okay, like um ice ice is coming here directly to, I'm kind of, what I understand is that they're coming to basically two cities in my state, and those two cities happen to be the cities that I live right in the middle of. Like, it takes the same amount of time to reach that one as it does that one, and I'm scared. I don't leave my house, but everybody else I know does. So I have that information that I'm going to pull out in a little bit, and I'm going to put the links to these resources um, in the description so people can access it after the stream. I always thought that I would be an English teacher. That's what I majored in before I ended up in that class, was English. I thought I would be an English high school teacher. Where I ended up was teaching like between third and fifth grade. Um, when I taught my son, he was in sixth grade too, I think. And then I also ended up teaching a really interesting age range, which was adults. I did a lot of adult classes. So, like classes on how to use computers and software, and like more education for business type stuff, um, which I loved. I loved teaching adults because they get so excited. Um, and back then, they really would get super excited because um, they didn't grow up with computers, the people I was teaching. So it was really something completely new for them, and it was exciting back then to just like learn that stuff. It made you feel like you were super smart, and you were. I just like to teach everything, but education in today's climate is, it's a nightmare, and I am glad that I'm not doing that at this point in time. Huh. Okay, I'm gonna run and get coffee. So you taught English in Italy. That's got to be amazing. Do you also speak Italian? And then you went back to the UK and taught primary. I kind of like thought that I wanted to teach like kindergarten and first grade for a while, but Lord, it's hard to keep all those crayons together. I have trouble keeping my own crayons together. I think I needed an environment where my students were more mature so that I could remember to be the most mature version of myself. Because when I'm around younger children, I turn into a child. For real. Okay. All right. I will be right back. 3 minutes or less. I need a place to put my mouse. Excuse me, Tizzy. I'm back. Coffee. It is life. Okay, so I'm gonna do beige here, and I'm just gonna. Can you tell that my house is slanted? My pencils just roll. Okay. Okay. Yep, beige. I'm gonna come through here. I'm really not going along with the class on this. I'm just kind of doing my own thing. But I am trying to create the texture. But as far as colors, I'm just doing what I think looks good. Because I don't have my closed captions on the end of this video, so I can't read the color on the screen. And I'm not listening to it because I'm listening to a podcast, music. I only have 2 ears. I wish I had more ears. Genuinely. Most of the time. Sometimes I don't. My ears are super sensitive, so they hear sounds that other people can't hear. But I do wish that I could have like just one more speaker in my ear. I'd be cool with that. So I'm not adding the beige everywhere. I'm just kind of filling it in randomly. Okay, so I'm just going to make sure that I have enough pigment on the page here. I'm going to add those 2 colors again, and then I'm going to use my blender pencil to blend that out. So sienna brown. I'm going to try to keep the color where I originally put that color. I'm being really messy today because my hand is twitchy. So like I said earlier, when my hand gets twitchy, I try to work on something that not only is it okay if it scribbles sort of, but that if I have something in my image that I can do this with, I'll just let the hand do the thing on its own, and it'll help me get some texture, you know? If I can direct which way it's wiggling. So if I'm doing flicks for hair, if I can direct it, then it's just gonna twitch and it'll go that way. Or like this, I just kind of let it do like that. So instead of working against what my body is doing to not cooperate with me, I try to make it work for me, if that makes sense. When you have chronic issues, you can only go against the grain so much. It takes a lot of energy. It takes a lot of energy to go against the grain. My nose. I feel like I need to sneeze. And I'm just overlapping these colors wherever. It doesn't have to be consistent anywhere. I think another time that I did the texture kind of like this was when I was working on like a clock, the face of a clock, and it had like this coloring where it was kind of like spilled tea stains on it. And I think it was kind of the same texture as what I'm doing right now as far as like the technique. But I did that with marker. I don't think I ever did the pencil version of that class. I should. Don't say banana. You know this stuff always works in reverse for me, babe. Like, he's trying to say banana so it'll help me not sneeze. Alright, baby. Toodles and bye-byes. I love you. Okay. I say okay so much. I don't know why. I start to annoy myself. So, again, I'm just kind of, and I'm using really light pressure because when you're doing a texture like this, you want to get a lot of pigment on the page so that when you come back with the colorless blender, it will, it'll push the pigment around and not get really scratchy. But in doing so, you still want to keep the pressure really light. That's been one of the hardest things for me to learn. And it applies to almost any art I do. So, I guess it's something that I consistently work on almost no matter what the project is. And where is light umber? That's another color that we used here, I think. I'm getting my colors mixed up, honestly. I don't have the focus or the attention today. But, like, I don't have to have the focus or attention. I can do whatever I want during the day. I can do what I want. Let me know. I finally finished that energy drink, and honestly, good morning, dear. Honestly,
I'm going to use your bathroom.
yeah, I'm live. Okay. Forgot what I was saying. I am using Prismacolor pencils. These are the Premiers, and I also really love the Prismacolor Verithens for a harder core, more detail pencil. The Verithens don't come in a wide variety of colors, so sometimes I have to substitute a color for another color, but I do love my Prismacolors. I've tried a lot of different pencils. I have a lot of different pencils. I have a lot of pencil experiments I've done and pencil experiments to do. I like to do things where I swatch out pencils. I love swatching. I just love swatching. And I'll test out, like, okay, like 5 different black pencils, or I'll pull out every white pencil I have and buy a few open stock too, and then test out like every white pencil that I have on a piece of black paper or something like that. I'm just kind of putting this everywhere. All right, and now I'll go back over it with the beige. This is really messy, but I feel like it'll clean up really well. I try not to work on super detailed things when my hands are giving me trouble, which is why I picked the guitar. I actually, if I went in the order of the class, we'd be doing the flowers today. But I want the flowers to be cute, so I'm doing the guitar instead. See, one of my things, though, is that I feel like whatever your creative choice, you know, whatever thing really gets you going creatively, which for me is like a lot of stuff. Do that thing. It doesn't matter if you mess up. It doesn't matter if your stuff ends up everywhere because you drop stuff. It doesn't matter. Just pick you a space where you can set up your little art stuff. One of my secrets, like I said earlier, is that I use boards. I put a board under everything, so that way if I need to swap out what activity I'm doing, either because I lose interest or because I finish something, or because I'm having ADHD and I don't want to do that anymore, or because my body says I need to do something different, sit in a different place, whatever. I put boards underneath my projects, really big boards, and that way I could just take it off of the table, put it over there somewhere, and grab another board that has, like, I don't know, nail art stuff on it, and put it on the table. So that's one way that I do that. Because I've found that, especially if you have physical issues, it is so much easier to sit down and be creative if everything's already set out. Like, if you don't have to sit down and gather everything and all of that, if you set it out ahead of time, and then when you leave it, you get up and you walk away, or you pick the board up off your kitchen table, you put it somewhere, and you leave it there. When you come back to it the next day, if you only have 10 minutes to spend on, you know, your self-care, your art, you can just pick your board up or sit down at your table and keep going right where you were. You don't have to set everything up again. That has been a big success point for me. But I feel like everybody should find a way to explore their creativity, and I don't feel like having a disability, even one where like you're drawing or you're coloring and your hands don't cooperate with you or they cramp up, just go slower. Take your time. Be patient with yourself. Nobody's rushing you. And that is one of the reasons that I won't ever make Periwinkle Palace Arts an income generating thing. I don't want to, because I don't do this to make money, because I don't want to be rushed. That's why. That doesn't mean that at some point I won't like start making things to sell again. But this is our passion project. I want to be a space where we can just chill, hang out, and get that 10 minutes or that 3 hours of peace, whatever you have time for. It's important, especially now. The more stressful things get in the world, the more I feel like we need this. And it doesn't matter if you're coloring, if you're painting, if you're doing 5 different activities. It doesn't matter. You just need that time to break, you know, and to do something where you can just focus on that thing for a little bit. Oh, I wanted to tell you, Andria, one of the things that helps when you're coloring with colored pencils is not just the pencils, it's the paper too. This paper is amazing. It's by Canton, and it's called Mitons. The French thing, and I can't say that very well. I've tried for years. But it's got like a dual-sided texture. So it's kind of smooth on this side. But on this side, it's got like this honeycomb pattern weave. So it's got a raised texture. And it makes your pencils just kind of glide. I can't even explain it. When I first discovered this paper, I was so happy. I still love it. I love the way especially the Prismacolors feel as they go across the paper. I just love it. Like I'll go away from my colored pencils for a few weeks, and when I sit down and start using them again on this paper, I'm just like, I love this. There is a Mimi here. Oh, it must be my Jules being awake. Let me check. Are you awake, child? Okay. It's not my responsibility to wake him up, but I am just wondering. Okay. So now I'm going to grab the colorless blender. I like this one. It's from Derwent. I do have the Prismacolor colorless blender pencils as well. A personal preference. They work just fine. They're amazing. Personal preference. I love this freaking blender pencil, and it's just the Derwent blender. I also have the Derwent burnisher, which we're going to use on the glasses here. What? I don't know, but the keys are right there on my purse. I'm going to use this on the glasses to see if I can smooth those down from the other day, but we're going to come back to that. So this is my blender pencil, and I'm just going to go over everything right here. Really small circles, very lightweight. And I'm gonna focus and take my time to do that. Because it's kind of tedious, right? But I personally find tedious tasks to be really relaxing. I'm trying to go in small circles, but also, my hand's misbehaving, so it's doing like this every now and again. I just go with it. I've heard many, many people in my life, myself included, say, I can't do that. And I don't like that. I mean, not everybody has the same talent or whatever, but I feel like people focus too much on the talent part. A lot of this, it's not about talent, it's about learning it and practicing it. Practicing. So every time that I color something, I'm practicing something. And if I mess up, it's okay because it doesn't matter. I was just practicing again. And most of the time, even though I'm just practicing, whatever I'm doing comes out pretty good anyway. I know people get tired of hearing the whole trust the process thing because honestly, I think people don't like it because it has kind of like a really culty sound to it. And trusting the process. Damien in the bathroom. I don't remember what I was saying.
Trusting the process?
Oh, yeah, practicing. I feel like people like put too much emphasis on talent. Even things that you're really good at, you still have to learn about them in order to be able to do them. So I feel like determinedness. I don't think determinedness is a word. Determination. And, you know, how devoted do you want to be or can you be to your creative thing? I know that me coloring stuff takes longer than it takes other people, but I'm okay with that. I used to care about everything, like everything had to be just right, and I realize now that that's partially a product of my nature. Perfectionism is the game. I work really hard to not let that take over everything I do. But part of it was part of my upbringing too. Like everything had to be perfect. If I didn't get it right, then it wasn't worth doing it. That's how I was taught. So everything had to be perfect. And I think that people get lost in trying to be great and they forget. Or maybe they were never told. I was never told. They forget that good is also good and fair is also good. And doing the thing is better than not doing it because you're paralyzed by perfectionism. Do it bad. It's okay. If you do it bad, it's still done. I wouldn't recommend that with some things, okay? I wouldn't recommend it with drywall. Or like, I don't know, putting a window in something. There's certain things you kind of need to do well. But if you're not able to do it well, just find somebody who is. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you on that. I probably need to think on that myself. Please don't leave me. I think I'm gonna make this edge around the guitar a different color than the rest of the guitar. Oh, that's gotta be cool having a little garden outside. I used to have one, but kind of gave up on it for a while. And I probably just have like hanging plants when I move to the new house. Whenever that is. So I really kind of like the way that's turning out. I'm trying to decide if I have enough pigment here. And I don't think that I do. I think I need a little more pigment here to before I blend it down. So there's different ways you can do this. You can use your lightest color, like the beige here. You can use that as your blender. You can use a colorless blender. You can use white. It all depends on how you want the final result to look. So, and there's a different way to go about it. Like if you are using your pencil, your lightest color to blend, you want to not use the colorless blender. If you want to use the white to blend, you're going to put several layers of color down first and then use your white to blend, because that's going to make it come out lighter. And if you're using your colorless blender, you want to put both layers down, but you don't want to overdo it. And that's what I end up doing a lot, is overdoing my layers. Like in the glasses, that's what happened. I put too much colored pencil down before I went to blend it. You make a mistake, you learn. That's all I could say. I learn from my mistakes. So I'm just adding just a little bit more pigment so that the colorless blender, it's just the wax without any color in it. So it adds a little bit more wax to the page, but you really want to have your color kind of thick on there so that when it goes across the paper, it actually pushes the pigment around and helps it to get a smooth blend. What was the second color there? Chocolate? I think it was chocolate. Yep. I I struggle to use my colored pencils. Especially since I have such a heavy hand naturally. I mean, sometimes I'll be gripping them like a death grip, and I'll have to remind myself, um, or I'll be pressing down really hard. But so for me, I'll use markers or crayons when my hands are so bad. But I absolutely love my colored pencils. So if I can do colored pencils, I will. Sometimes I get here and I'm just like, okay, this isn't working. That's when I switch out to something else. And my health issues are a lot of the reason that I have so many different little hobbies, because some days I'm able to do this and some days I'm not, and I have to do something. So I just switch. I used to grow morning glories a lot. Like every year I would grow them, and then when they bye baby. That door. That door. Um when they would start to die that year, I just go outside and pull out the seeds and keep them for the next year. But I don't think I've been able to do any gardening since probably 2014 or 15. I don't know. I would have to check that. But it's a really big problem, and a lot of people who don't live with severe health issues or chronic pain don't really realize that it feels like your body betrayed you and stole your life from you. It stole all of your favorite things. And it took me a long while to come to terms with that, both in terms of what I wanted to do and in terms of helping provide financially for my family. I was not happy to be in that situation, but I've learned a lot of tricks for, I guess, finding peace in where I am, and I guess altering my own perception of my journey and what I thought that journey was going to be and what it was going to look like into what it became. And it took me a long time to understand that that's basically mostly how life works, actually. You go through phases in your life, and if you don't change with them, then it's just going to run you over. I like to do collages too. When I paint things, for the most part, what I paint is like stuff. One of my favorite things to do is paint photo frames. But I paint a lot of different stuff. I want to get into learning to paint like canvases and stuff like that. And it sounds silly to say this. It sounds silly, but like wet mediums really do scare me in a way. Like you have to like remind yourself you're learning this, you're practicing this. So it's okay if you dump some stuff out. What I really want to get into is pouring like where you take things and you pour the paint and it makes bubbles and stuff. That would be cool. But that's something that I plan to do in the future. And we'll see if I'm good at it and I like it, and if not, I'll like never do it again. I try things at least twice, because the first time might have been a fluke. all of this messiness is fine. It'll be cleaned up as we go. Not even gonna notice it when I'm done. I'm trying to decide if I'm gonna do my nails before the concert tomorrow night. If so, then I will probably do a nail stream tomorrow. Because I need to do cuticle care, which I hate. It's so boring. And then I think I'm going to, instead of doing nail wraps or painting them tomorrow, if I do them for the concert, I might just leave them like this. It depends on how much energy I have. I want to, if I do them, I want to put on one of these sets that I made. This one is like midnight to sunset colors, or midnight to sunrise is what I named it. But it's got like quite a few glow in the dark. There's some glow in the dark elements over it. And then this one I made, it has a fluorescent accent in it. And I think that would, either one of them would be cool at the concert. So, I don't know. But if I do my nails for the concert, I'm gonna do the application of one of these sets over the top of my overlay, so I can show you guys how I do that. It's pretty simple, and they last for a good long while. They last for a good long while. I meant to say while. I love doing collages. In fact, I have like 3 that I've been working on for the past year or so. One is something I'm making for my husband and I to hang in the house. One is my stuffy book that I've started gathering pictures and descriptions for. And another one is just like I have a bunch of stuff I want to put in my sketchbook. So it's about 10:45. I try to be off of here at 11 for lunch, but I might stay on a little bit longer today. Excuse me. I'm pretty sure I'm not gonna get a second stream in today, but I will be back here tomorrow morning around 8:30ish. Either way, and we're gonna be in power save mode for the rest of today and tomorrow. So we're gonna take it easy tomorrow, so I can save up those spoons to go to the concert and have a good time. I love going to concerts with my kid. I've been to 1, maybe 2. I don't know. Does Disney count? We went to a Disney thing once a long time ago, but I think I've been to 1 or 2 concerts with him. I know when he went to see 21 Pilots, I didn't go to that one. His dad took him. But yeah, we like it. It's fun. I'm very excited about it. See, I'm tricking my brain. I'm excited, not scared. I'm excited. I love like mental hacks like that. I find myself most of the time in my life trying to figure out ways that I can trick my brain into doing what I want it to. Alright, so I did those colors out of order. I didn't mean to, but I did. So, I'm gonna bring the light umber back over it. Bring it in more towards the center a little bit. I think I'm gonna make the this edge of the guitar maybe green or red. Collage can be really messy. Like, I think most of the time I use a a glue stick, just an Elmer's glue stick, to stick things down initially. Or, oh, one of my favorite things actually to use is Scotch double-sided sticky tape. That's super not messy. And then when I finish a page, I would because I used to do scrapbooks. And I would get self-sealing laminating pages and laminate it and then put that in the book. Or Mod Podge. Love Mod Podge. So you take that outside or whatever after you get everything stuck down and you just coat it with Mod Podge. Mod Podge. I can't say Mod Podge. Mod Podge. And I think I have actually dumped Mod Podge on my bed because I do art in my bed a lot. Not as much as I used to. I've dyed my hair in bed, bleached it, dyed it, rainbowed it. Like, I got so tired of being in bed and not being able to do anything that over time I came up with that I didn't have to put up with that. I can still work in my bed if I need to. I just can't really film in my bed, which sounds a little bit weird now that I think about it. Oops. Don't take that. Well, take it however you want it, right? I'm bringing this right through the center, and I'm trying to make sure, not that I press down hard or anything, I'm just trying to make sure I get a good layer of pigment there that is enough that it will push around on the page. Wait, you understand what now? I said a bunch of things. I know there's a delay between my talking and the chat. Okay, now we're going to come back with the colorless blender again. And not only does this help blend, it helps get rid of the tooth, the white specks that's showing in the paper. And it also, if you have a lot of wax bloom, which is when it builds up and it starts to get this like weird cloudy film over the top of your colors, which is kind of what happened with the glasses a little bit. It will it helps to remove that wax buildup actually. So I don't even worry about getting wax bloom anymore. I just go, and then if it gets too waxy looking, I come back over it with a blender pencil, and it really makes things look richer, I guess, is what I'm looking for, the word I'm looking for. Yeah, I'm a very, very messy person, but I've just come to accept the fact that I'm really, really clumsy. I try to make things, like, I guess you could say, like, handicapped accessible, but I just think about how I work and how I need things. And I like to make my areas functional. And when I say functional, I mean functional for my needs, because this chair needs to be set so that it's ergonomic for me. My desk needs to be set up in such a way that it works for me, right? Even when I put things on a board, I'm left-handed, so I need things usually completely opposite from what other people would put them. But I've just had to accept the fact that I am a clumsy person, and things will get messy when you're doing art. It's like, honestly, the messiest thing in the world. Art. I don't know where my actual feather duster went. I hope my dog didn't eat it. It's plastic, so probably not. One of them eats paper, the other one eats wood, so plastic should be safe. All right. I'm gonna call it a day for the art here. I know I didn't get a lot done this morning, but it was a challenge today. We'll finish this tomorrow or Wednesday, whichever. My husband thinks that I'm gonna sleep for 2 days after the concert. That could happen. Let's be honest, that could happen, but probably not. Okay, so before I go, I want to spend a few minutes just talking about immigration preparedness. Like I said, I'm going to put these links in the description box below, but I feel like the best that we can do to stay safe is to know what your legal rights are, to know who can help you if you do need assistance. It was fun, Andria. Have a good day. Thanks for hanging out so much. I had a fun time. So I feel like it's important to know what your rights are. It's important to know what you don't have rights to. For example, you do not have the right to commit physical violence to an officer. There's never, obviously, there's never any excuse for violence. And self-defense is one thing, but when you're being arrested or detained, in some ways you do have to follow the laws and not make it worse on yourself. But I feel like safety is the biggest thing, because if you're going to be targeted or they're going to come for you, what can you do, right? Except try not to make it as hard on yourself. Now, I want to, there's going to be some links that will have these little red cards that you can print out and carry in your wallet. And there's also another card that I'm going to share that is just like knowing your rights. There is a group out there of churches and faith related organizations that are putting out help and educating others in the faith-based community. So I just want to give you guys that information. There's also some information about what you can do as a bystander to help. If you see someone being, whatever you want to call it, detained, questioned, checked, one of the things that I've noticed and I've seen reported is that if there is someone else present when ICE is detaining someone, they tend to not be as rough and violent. It's also been said that a step further is if there is someone there who is recording also, that they'll be even less violent. And one that I saw that just kind of boggled my mind a little bit, but if you think about it, it makes sense. If you're being detained and there is a white person there, I hate saying that, but it is what it is. If there's a white person there, especially if that white person is recording, then there's a lower chance of violence. So as a bystander, that's something that we can do. If you see something, help make a record of it, you know? But there's a lot of information out there too about what you should not do as far as intervening. So I don't want to like go on and talk about this, but I've watched some things, okay? And particularly there was a session that I watched last week at some point where it was called a shadow hearing because it was the Democrats who aren't in power in the House or the Senate having their own session. And I guess that's called like a shadow hearing, or there's a shadow docket for judicial things. And I'm going to be looking that up later because I want to know what that exactly means. But basically what I understand that it means is that the Republicans wouldn't hold the hearing, so the Democrats did outside of Congress, and there were a lot of testimonies from witnesses about what they have seen, what they've experienced as far as being detained. You know, it doesn't matter what you think. If you're for or against the deportations, you're for or against immigrants, it doesn't matter what you think. There are people being harmed, okay? Maybe it's not everybody, but even one person harmed is harm. So what I want to encourage people to do is seek out resources, have a plan for, you know, what steps you can take to ensure everything keeps going as well as possible while you're in detention or your spouse is in detention. Is there somebody there who can watch your kids for you, let your dog out, things like that? Have a plan, know your rights, and as much as possible, try not to engage in what they call reactive violence, which is like fighting back physically. Like, it's ridiculous. And also, I wanted to let you know that churches can offer up their houses of worship as sanctuary. If you are going to a church, if you're in a church, there's legally no right for ICE to enter without a warrant. And I think what they said was that an administrative warrant does not count. So churches can legally offer sanctuary to people who are being targeted by ICE. But I really want everyone to be safe, and I don't leave my house often, so there's not much I can do in the world except for share this information with people. So please take a look at it. Everybody knows someone who might, be subject to this, and stay safe and stay respectful out there. I know everybody's on edge, but with information sharing and loving our neighbors, hopefully we'll get through this period in our history. All right, so I'm going to leave all those links down below so you can grab the information if you would like to. It is 11:03. I need to go to lunch, let my dogs out and all. I've had a great time this morning. Thanks for those of you who hung out in the chat with me. Andria, I hope to see you again. If you have any questions, concerns, comments, just want to join the conversation, check out, the comments box. You can like, you can subscribe, you can dislike, you can turn on notifications. I don't turn on notifications. If you want to do that stuff, if not, it's not gonna hurt my feelings. I will see you guys tomorrow morning. I'm gonna go. This has been Periwinkle Palace Arts. I'm Princess Bun Bun. I'm here with the bunnies. Say bye, bunnies. And we did art stuff here today.